Lighting, this is how you turn a dusty old dark shop into something that looks like a Christmas tree. So our music video is going to begin with the motorcycles in this garage. So we've kind of decorated it with a motorcycle theme. And to bring that out, now there's a bunch of different elements. So of course there's natural lighting and then there's artificial lighting. So let's talk about artificial lighting first of all, because this is a controlled environment and we have actually plugged off all of the little places where light can get in so that we can totally control the light. We'll turn some of this stuff on and then have a look at what it does to change the whole atmosphere. So here's some blue light behind the motorcycle. Another thing that we'll plug in here is some backlighting, some little halogen lights here that are going to shine forward. And they're actually going to bring some backlight. Lighting typically has a key light, which is the one that's shining on me here. This is artificial light. And then it has a fill light coming from this side, if that's what you want. And then it has a backlight coming from probably the other side, or a rim light, right, that kind of lights the perimeter of the guy. That's your basic lighting setup if you're like interviewing or something. Then the other thing that you want to remember to do is you want to shoot your subject from the dark side. That is the more emotional. And if you'll notice in the movies, they're always shooting on the dark side. Very seldom do you see them shooting on the light side, which is kind of the natural temptation, right? Okay, so we got that, and then we're going to add a few more other lights. There's a blue light hanging there, and we've got a white light or yellow light that needs to come in there as well. And that really gives it a not too overwhelming with the blue light. Now you begin to see the stuff at the back. And then we throw more light on that, and you know we'll do a whole like setup. We've got other floodlights and spotlights that are going to be shining here and there and everywhere. And then we add some dust or smoke, like that smoke machine that we borrowed, a fogger, whatever you call it. And you can also do it with an insect fogger and just not use the poison, right? So we'll let some smoke come at the back here, and it'll come out. There'll also be a backlight back in the far corner, shining out this way. The motorcycle is going to begin there, the key motorcycle, and then it'll have a backlight as well there, because it just lights the perimeter and it just makes it really nice. So the whole idea is this kind of lighting gives you a real emotional and purposeful telling of the story. And we're going to be doing a lot of the music video shoot with natural light. A lot of it's going to actually start in the dark, and one of the things that we're doing is we've set all of our cameras about one stop below proper exposure, right, according to the light meter, because we want to have that rich color, and we also want to be able to bring out the color in the sky. And if you have your camera set too high, you're letting too much light into your camera, the detail in the sky disappears, especially at sunrise and that kind of thing. There's little wisps of cloud and things like that. And so you keep that down low so that you can later on color grade that and you can bring out those details. It's really makes it dramatic as well. And so that's the natural light thing. If you're just sitting doing a video, like say like this or whatever, a vlog or something like that, or an interview, you just stand in front or get in front of a window that's letting light in. Stay out of the direct sunlight, that's too harsh, but just a window that's letting the light in. And then a black background or dark background is usually the easiest. Now, if you want to make your background interesting, you probably need to add something like a lamp or whatever just to make it, kind of stand out a little bit so it's just not too drab. I mean, when I started this shot, it was just black back there. And that's actually a good way to do it. That's very dramatic as well. But you can fool around and get what you want. But the natural light thing is basically if you get enough diffused light coming through a window, that's really all you need. So in all of this lighting, we're actually talking about the amount of light and the color of the light. What kind of colors do you want? And of course, the most dramatic one always is the blue or teal background, and the yellow or the skin color, skin tones actually coming out yellow in this unnatural light and artificial light. And that's a contrast in colors, right? So these are opposites on the color scale, and very complementary then in that case, because it really makes the people stand out. So the motorcycle that my daughter Becky's going to ride out of here in this video shoot is yellow. It's a bright yellow motorbike. So that's going to be looking really good. And also the headlight and so on. Her headlight is white because it's LED, but the dust and so on, it'll just make it, tone it down. And yeah, it'll be very dramatic if we get it right anyway. And then the other thing that we're going to do in here, which is just simple, because we're in the garage, right? They've got a couple of welders in here. So we're just going to have somebody drag a welding electrode across a piece of steel, and it's going to look like lightning going off and that kind of stuff in here, especially with all the smoke and stuff. That should be a real good effect. So simple things, again, using what you've got, all right, to produce the amount of light that you want and the colors that you want that'll tell the story that the way that you want to tell it. These are such classy, dramatic shots. Headlight comes on. And they're actually turning out just as good as if not better than what we had hoped for and what we had planned for. Now, a tremendous amount of work went into getting these first few shots with this amazing backlighting and all the different lighting angles, the different lighting colors, the haze and the smoke, and yeah, we're even using smoke bombs. So we've got dust from baby powder. We've got a smoke machine that we borrowed from the band, and also we've got smoke bombs, the just cheap little like firecracker things, right, that spew off smoke. And then a lot of coordination to try and get that all together and all right at the same time. But it's a lot of fun doing a project like this as a team, all of the thinking that goes into it and the ideas and the brainstorming and that kind of stuff. There's so many more things that you can do. So even if you have one person helping you shoot that project video, that how-to video, you can do a lot of things that you can't do just by yourself, especially camera movement type stuff. Lighting challenges, especially with this old kind of lighting. You notice how it's flickering? I'm in Thailand, and the electrical current runs at 50 hertz or 50 cycles per second, and I'm shooting this at 1/60th of a second. It's kind of like the same old principle that made the wagon wheels go backwards in the old movies, right? So all I have to do is switch it to 1/50th of a second, and now the cycles per second match the frame rate of the camera. But you're not going to get that with too many lights. This is an old-time fluorescent light. I know with a lot of the newer LED lights and other lights, but you'll find it in some of our shots, if you're really to pay attention, the street lights are flickering. That's how to fix it. Change it to 1/50th. Now the other problem is that we're shooting at 1/60th of a second because that's the cinematic speed, shutter speed, for video that you're going to edit at 30 frames per second, okay? So I'm really looking forward to releasing this music video because it's going to be a bit of a showpiece of all of the things that we're learning in lighting and color for our band. And the other two things that go along with lighting is the movement of the actors, right? Or the movement in the scenes, whether it may be vehicles or people or whatever. And then the third one is camera movement. Those three things, if we can nail those down, we'll end up with a really emotional, powerful, effective way to tell the story that we're trying to tell. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and like them or whatever, and it's helpful. And you might think, well, why do I need to know that much about color? And we're going to talk about camera movement and that kind of stuff. All I ever do is shoot myself with my cell phone or shoot things with my cell phone. I tell you what, this is all really, really helpful. I mean, this is a lot of stuff that I picked up as a teenager when I first started just doing photography for fun. And over the years, I've been able to take pictures that have become very useful and helpful in communicating. And now we produce magazines and a lot of videos, a lot of media stuff. So it's just really good to have some kind of a foundation on which to build and learn more stuff to improve your skills. So we will see you next week.